think you should read my book because I'm a practitioner. I lived this. You know, there are a lot of books out there by male CEOs. There are a lot of books out there by consultants. There are a lot of books by academia, not to criticize any of those. They're good books. But they're not people that lived it. I lived this, and these are real live experiences that I have, and they're real live experiences that other C-suite executives had. And what's interesting is the advice didn't vary a whole lot. When I interviewed these 28 different very phenomenal women and hundreds of other men and women, I asked one question. I said, if you had a young person coming into the workforce today and you could give them one piece of advice about being successful, what would it be? The number one thing that came up over and over again is be willing to get out of your comfort zone and take risk. A comfort zone is an extremely dangerous place to be. And if you're not pushing outside of that every day, and if you're not willing to fail and do it on a pretty regular basis, you are never going to reach your full potential. And so one of the examples I use is Babe Ruth, who, as we all know, was a great baseball player, hit more career home runs in his time than anybody. But what people don't realize about Babe Ruth, if you go back and check the records, he also held the record on strikeouts. And so what was great about him is he was willing to get up to the plate. And if he struck out, then he learned about how that person was pitching the ball. And he was successful in the next try, and careers are the same way. There are several studies that have been done inside large major corporations on why women in particular aren't progressing in their careers. And these companies have job posting systems where if you want to apply for the next level up, you have to post for it. And they have a list of criteria for these jobs. And what they found is if they have 10 criteria for a job that's posted, on average, if a man meets 6 of those criteria, he's going for it. He's putting himself out there. Women, on the other hand, want to have between 9 and 10 of the boxes checked. And so much of what happens in our success in our careers is you learn it on the job. I mean, yes, a college education is important. It gives you some basic foundational skills, but what it teaches you is how to make decisions and how to use your judgment. But it's the experience that qualifies you to move on up. So if you're waiting until you have 10 of those boxes checked, somebody else is going to jump out there ahead of you, get that experience, and then they're qualified for the next job. So don't wait until you're 100% ready to go for the next job. Put yourself out there, because even if you fail, you learn what doesn't work, so you can be successful on the next try. And as human beings, we're not programmed to do that. On average, we talk to ourselves far more than we do anybody else. In fact, you have about 65,000 thoughts in a given day. And 85% of those thoughts are negative, warning you and convincing you not to do something. And some of that's very helpful. You will remember if a candle flame is burning, not stick your hand over it, you'll get burned. But most of what we experience in the corporate world, you don't need to worry about that. And don't, and so we shouldn't talk ourselves out of going out there and putting ourselves out there and getting those experiences. It's all about who you surround yourself with, making sure you have a mentor so that in the event you do fail, you've got somebody who can lift you up and pick you up and help you go to the next level. And asking for help, being very forthright about that. That's the benefit of having been in a C-suite position is I found more often than not, men are shameless about coming in and saying, I'm applying for an MBA and I want you to write a letter for me. Somebody I don't even know who's scheduled time on my calendar. Because they're on my team, I'm going to write it. Or coming into my office and saying, I just won an award. Did you know about that? A woman would never do those things. But you know what? We got to start doing that. We got to start telling our women it's okay to do that. Your boss does not have telepathy. It's your job to make sure that they know about the great things that you're doing. And if you don't want to tell them, get a friend to go tell them. Find a way creatively to make sure people know what it is that you're doing, and be thoughtful about what it is that you want. And don't be afraid to put yourself out there and go for it. Dare to go for it.